live. I am, good morning everybody, PTPOP here. It is Thursday morning. I believe it's August 7th. No, today is August, yeah, I think it's the 7th. Something like that. I can't keep track of the days anymore. And I am headed out to go to the park. And I thought I would just jump online here and say hi, ho, everybody. Pardon me a second, I've got to navigate the murky waters of this small Midwestern town I live in. So I was thinking about all of this. I don't know if I can even say it on here, but I'm going to say it. Maybe the video will get taken down. The Jeffrey Epstein list. And everybody's all up in arms, right? Trump says, what list? There's no list. What list? List? Melania, let's pass a bill saying they can't talk about the list anymore. No more list. And everybody's mad at him, and they hate him because he's lying to us. And Dan Bongino's up in arms because he gave up his cushy life as a podcaster, and his wife is upset, and on. You know, the hatred goes, the animosity and the resentment, because our president has let us down, right? Hey, TRG. And if I don't respond to everybody, I'm driving, so I can't really look at the messages. But thank you for watching. And you know, everybody it's on the tip of everybody's tongue, the list. Well, what if there is a list, and Trumpster is using this list as leverage? Now, I'm just hypothesizing. This is purely for entertainment purposes only. What if he's using the list as leverage to get what he wants done? And he's called up a few people that are his enemies that are in fact on the list. He says, hey, look, you don't do what I want you to do, they're going to get the list. And they're going to see you're a dirtbag pedo. He could be doing that. And I personally think it'd be a brilliant move on his behalf. I mean, why release the list? I mean, everyone's like, no, he's on the list. He had connections with Epstein. He must be on the list. I don't know. We don't know. He did have relations with the man, and he stopped having a relationship with the man after a while, for some reason. And if you're wondering why my phone is in the dashboard, it's because it's a hot, sunny day here in the fine land of Cleveland, Ohio. And if I keep my phone up on the windshield, the phone will bag and it will get shut off. The sun will overheat the phone, and the phone will shut off. And it's funny, you know, we allegedly can fly a probe past the sun, 2 million miles from the sun, where it's still like 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's go, honey cakes. Get your head out of your ass. And we can't build a phone that doesn't melt in the sun in 15 minutes. But I digress. But so there could be a chance Trumpster is on the list. He seems to like his women young. I don't know if that's true or not. And so maybe there is a list. And he said, hold on a second. Hold everything. Melania, we're going to not release the list. And we're going to use it as leverage. I'm going to get what I want from all these dirtbags that have been on my ass for 10 years. And I think that's a possibility. I think it's a huge possibility. Because nothing makes any sense. It just doesn't make any sense how all of a sudden this list just disappeared. It doesn't exist. Pam Bondi's up there saying it's on her desk. I think that was Pam Bondi. I don't know. Something doesn't add up. But what the hell do I know, right? I'm just a voice. Flapping his gums. Flapping his gooms in the wind. And I just think, what if he sits down and calls up a couple people? Hey, Mr. Clinton. Hey, Bill. Bill, it's Donald over here. Tell you what. You get your wife Hillary and your goons off my tail along with Obama. And we can talk some business, talk some shop here. You let me get my job done my last 4 years in office. I don't know. I would think that if Mr. Epstein was Mossad agent or something like that, I would imagine that Israel has more dirt on people than you can imagine. It seems like we're their puppet. And there's lots of Jewish people out there that get so mad when you say that. How dare you say that about my wonderful Israel? It's the weirdest thing, because some of the people here that are Jewish are just as much connected to Israel as I am to Scotland. Most people I know that are Jewish have never even set foot in Israel. Yet people here will stand behind the government of Israel just because of their faith and let them do whatever they want to do. Like, I don't care about Scotland. I'm not sitting here going, oh my God, what did the head of Scotland do today? They bombed Ireland. I don't care. I'm not going to go fight for the Scots, in a war just because 3, 4, 5 generations ago, somebody in my family was 100% Scottish. I mean, it doesn't make much sense. But I guess the Jewish faith is a different thing. There's being an Israelite, I guess, and there's being a Jewish person. Not everybody in Israel is Jewish. I'm sure there's a small representation of Christians. But anyway, if Epstein was, in fact, a Mossad agent, if there is a list, there's people that say, well, maybe Israel let everybody know what a dirtbag you are. I don't know. We'll never know. The bottom line is this: no one's ever going to know. If for those of you that live in the fantasy world still, and you're still in the Matrix, and you think somebody's going to wake up one day and hand you a list that says Tony Sarducci, part of the mob, shot JFK from the front while Oswald was at the back, and the CIA concocted it and manufactured along with the Secret Service, you're nuts. If you think there's going to be some type of document hidden in the vault telling you who really shot MLK or who really shot RFK, you're all nuts. It's not there. And if it is there, they're never going to let you know. They dangle that in front of you to keep you frustrated, to keep you distracted. There's still people that think we really landed on the moon. There's people that really think that flimsy little lunar landing module thing that landed on the moon could Sure, Pete. I'm not going to get into that, but there's a lot of us, especially in the United States, that have bought into the illusion that the entertainment industry is spun. And we're sitting here waiting for lists. We're waiting for disclosures of JFK. The government is not good. The government is not your friend. They're not sitting in the White House or sitting in the Capitol going, you know what? I feel so bad for the American people. I think we better let them know today who shot JFK and why they did it. It's more than apparent why they shot JFK. It's more than apparent it wasn't just some lunatic with a crappy Italian rifle. This was a highly orchestrated kill zone they drove him into. But still people are like, well, I don't know. And Oswald, he was a marksman with the rifle in the Marines. He could have done it. I don't know, people. There's a lot of people out there who have a whole lot of stupid left to be used. And the government knows it. They know we're a bunch of morons. And they take advantage of it each and every day. Hey, I got a green light. I get to go with my bottle in my hand. I don't know about you guys, but are there a lot of adult men and women in your neighborhood that have bought a bicycle and decided to ride around in really skin tight pants and a helmet, trying to look like they're professional bicyclists. There's like thousands of men around my age that have decided to go down to Dick's Sporting Goods and buy a bicycle and a skin tight outfit and then tool around the neighborhood. And they all act like they're in the what is it called, the La Tour de France, whatever it's called, that bicycle race that American who had prostate cancer won about 1 million times, who was up for performance enhancing drugs. These men around here are idiots. There's a guy in my neighborhood who refuses to obey the rules of the road, and he just blasts right through stop signs. An old fart, about 70 years old, hair as gray as well, what is gray? The Cleveland skies in winter. And he comes blasting. I'm coming up this one road. He's coming through from the right, and he just blasts through a stop sign without looking. And I could have T-boned him and killed him right there. I didn't want to, but it could have happened. I wasn't trying to. He just happened to drive right in front of my car. And you can't get mad, because it'll just end up being on TikTok or YouTube. Bald old white man in a car gets mad at a bicyclist because he ran him over. But I just drove through the park system here, and I saw that. I saw that there was this old white guy just putzing around on his 10 speed or whatever they call them these days, his mountain bike. Of course, everybody, they don't have 10 speeds anymore. They have mountain bikes. And hey, you got a mountain bike? I got a mountain bike. But anyway, so this whole Epstein thing, they pulled it out. They pulled back on the story for some reason. And maybe Trump has decided to use the list as a tool, as a form of leverage against his political enemies, with if the very least within this country, generals, politicians, whoever. And he's going to hold it back because he knows if he releases it, he loses all the power. I know a lot of you think he's an idiot, and there's a lot of hate out there for him, and you think that all the other presidents before him were like Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts and good little boys and not girls. There are no girls in the White House yet, but every single man that set foot in that White House has their fetishes and they have their kink, and a lot of them are womanizers and rapists, because you get into that political realm and you're, number one, an egomaniac. You've got to be an egomaniac to want to run the country. So you've got to have some form of sociopathy or psychopathy in your brain. None of these men are good men. Maybe Jimmy Carter was. That's probably why everybody really didn't like him, because he didn't seem to have a backbone. I don't think he just wasn't into war. And rightfully so. Why should anybody be into war unless there's a real reason to go to war? I think Jimmy Carter pulled back from war with Iran when they took our hostages when he was in office. Because really, are we going to go put millions of people's lives at stake because they took 30 of our men and women, or whatever it was back in 77, or I can't even remember now. But I bet you every other president is just a complete dirtbag. Now, I don't know for a fact, but they're men. Men are dirtbags, myself included. There was a time when I was a misogynistic, guy that just was looking for one thing. All guys are like that. Your dad, your mom, not your mom. Your mom's not a guy. Well, your mom could be a guy today. But your dad, your priest, your uncle, your dad's best friend, the barber that cuts your hair, we're all creeps. They're all creeps. They're all looking for something. And I'm not going to go into detail about that, but Trump is one of them. And if you think that Obama is a good guy, or George W., or his dad I think was the head of the CIA at one point. You don't get to be the head of the CIA for being a Boy Scout. You don't. There's more than a few skeletons in the Bush's closet. It's more than apparent. You don't think he was a good guy? For some reason, everybody hates Trump because he said he was grabbing some snapper. Locker room talks. Melania loves my locker room talk. We do it in between the sheets. Locker room talk. Everyone's a dirtbag, and if you think that most of the men that are in the White House are these nice little Boy Scouts that really care about you, I got another thing coming. They don't give a crap about any of us. Crap, we're practically taxed at 50%. If you include sales tax and everything else, and tax on our property, we're taxed. We're taxed till our eyes bleed. This is always an interesting intersection here. This is an on-ramp, and people around here in these parts don't understand on-ramps. What's an on-ramp? I don't get it. I'm gonna do 10 miles an hour on the Route 71 North here. That's what I'm gonna do. Melania, let's pass another bill. We'll pass the bill to just, it's called the Confuse the American People bill. Like this guy. There's no reason this is like living in Arizona again. You know, he saw me on the ramp, and instead of just keeping his speed and letting me merge, he sped up so he could get ahead of me. And he kept looking over at me like this. Oh, am I going to hit him? Am I going to hit him? God bless these people. God bless the drivers in Ohio, land of the stupid. Now, you want to see some dumb drivers, come to Ohio. And like I've said, in Arizona, people just drove. Got in the car and boom, they're gone. You know, they were aggressive drivers. They were very aggressive and angry drivers. Out here, people are just like, what? Stop sign. I love those stop signs. They're nice, pretty, and red. I like the white letters in the center, too. My favorite are the green arrow, left turn arrows. Yeah, they're pretty. It looks like green vines growing from a yellow box. Yeah. Papa told me just to sit and stare at those when those come down because they're so pretty. I love being from Ohio. But yeah, I mean, let me know what you think. Do you think maybe Trump could be holding back the list to gain leverage on some of his political opponents or military opponents? I mean, you know, is there anybody that we've noticed that have folded on these tariffs and went, oh, okay, yeah, charge us tariffs, we don't care. No, we're not going to tariff you back. No, just keep that list to yourself there, Donald. There's been a bunch of countries all of a sudden he's reached trade agreements with awfully fast. I don't know, but allegedly, you know, as a lot of you watch me from the UK, you know the royal family is into some real weird shit. They got some skeletons in their closet that are screaming to get out. They got a whole lot of skeletons in their closet. Whole lot of skeletons, I'm telling you. Yeah, that's right. Howard Stern here. Hey, Robin, what do you think of the skeletons in my closet? Oh, Howard! I make myself laugh. So, somebody's gonna make me laugh. It might as well be me or Ringo Starr. I don't know. I think this whole thing is crazy. Because, you know, some guy named Jeffrey Epstein knocked on the door of some famous person and said, hey, you want to come over to my island? I got some, you know, things you're going to want to see and play with. And that person said, sure. No one's going to know about it? No. And they were dumb enough to believe this guy, and they went over there and did whatever they did with whoever they did it with. And it's all on videotape, and it's all written down because the guy leveraged that against them to get money or power or whatever. And you've got to understand that if people like Tom Hanks and whoever else, Prince Harry and all these other people, if did any of this nasty, wasty stuff, you've got some serious sickos in your government. But some people said, no, not in my government. My British Queen and King would never do that to us. Fine. I know firsthand. David, a guy I've talked to a lot offline here, a guy I met through his channel, David Coffey. He's got a great book. And we talked about some things about his country, and his country's a mess. UK's a mess. And nobody talks about it, in case you're watching right now. Nobody talks about the UK over here. None of the news networks cover anything in the UK. Nothing is covered. It's absolutely not discussed, unless something really big happens, like when the Queen died and stuff like that. But nothing is discussed about the UK. You wouldn't even know it existed. They just, here on the news, all they talk about for the first 15 minutes of the local newscast on any network TV station is just murder, rape, fires, earthquakes, constant beating you over the head with fear and horror. Then they hit you with the weather, and now they've weaponized the weather. So for 5 to 10 minutes, the weather person will sit there and tell you that it's drought conditions, fires in Canada, fires in California, run. There's accidents everywhere. People are dying. Keep your doors locked. Your mother might get raped by an illegal. Oh! There's weather coming. There's earthquakes in Russia. There's rain coming. You might get flooded out. And then they go into sports, and sports has been weaponized too. Everything here in Cleveland is either let's just say the Cleveland Browns are great, and the newscasters are all bought and paid for by Jimmy Haslam, and they're like, hey, today was a great day at training camp in Cleveland. Shadowy Sanders is still playing pitching catch with the trash can, but hey, he's starting in the preseason game this Friday. Yay! And there's no problems in Cleveland at all. There's no problems in the locker room. No, everything's great. Or it's today Shadowy Sanders was pulled over doing 110 miles an hour on Route 71 North coming out of Medina. Oh, he's a horrible person. It's one or the other. They just beat you over the head with these horrible sports teams that most towns have horrible sports teams. Most of us do. It's not just here in Cleveland. So they don't talk about anything outside of there, and they rarely cover the slaughter that's going on in Gaza. They rarely will bring that up because the news media is controlled by some nefarious force. And I'm not going to say who or what it is, but you can put one and one together and get a big two. Our media's been bought and sold over and over again. It's and if you don't want to believe it, don't believe it. But just look at what you're hit over the head with every night. Nobody in this country talks about any international news, and unless you go to the national news, and it's I don't know, it's slanted. The news media is slanted. That's all I can say in one direction. So I'm going to sign off here. I'm getting some heavy traffic here on the freeway, and I got to focus on my task at hand. So let me know what you think of this crazy Jeffrey Epstein list. If you think that Donald's using it for leverage. Melania, I want you to make a list of all your shoes. Then we'll pass a bill that nobody can buy shoes like yours. Executive order. Sorry, not a bill, an executive order. Telling the world nobody can buy shoes like Melania. Does this man lay awake at night thinking of executive orders he can write? Does he sleep? Does he just lay in his bed staring at the ceiling with Melania, her head on his shoulder, going, oh, Donald, what kind of executive orders can we make tonight? That's the best Melania I can do. All right, guys. I gotta sign off here. It's really getting thick and heavy here on the freeway. Hope you all have a good day. Hasta la vista, baby.